estate and my kitchen, my rules. And tonight, as you already remember from your little teaser video, we're having a lemon drop to go with our supper. That's tart, love it. That's of course vodka, triple sec, and fresh squeezed lemon juice. See, here's my evidence from my fresh squeezing. So tonight we're making baked spaghetti. Now, as you've already discovered on the Lee Brown Cooking channel, there's not a whole lot of healthy stuff to be had, but that's all right. That's why I run, so I can eat whatever I want to eat. If you need healthy food that's low sodium and low sugar and low calories, frankly, you're gonna have to find somebody else to look at fixing food, because that ain't this girl. So anyway, baked spaghetti is kind of magical because it's fancy-ish looking, and it uses up lots of pots and pans, so you'll look like you are a very busy cook. And frankly, it's the best thing ever to carry over to somebody's house if they have had an incident in the family. One thing we know in the South is that when somebody has an incident, you need to feed them. And whether that's a new baby or somebody going to the hospital or somebody passing, or frankly, the event could be church, you got to fix something for homecoming. Baked spaghetti is a winner. In fact, when your 13-year-old comes in the kitchen and says, "Mama, fix us a baked spaghetti," how are you going to say no to that? See, you can't, truly. If you do, you're probably some kind of a monster. So anyway, what we're starting off with is we're boiling some water. We're going to make a pound of spaghetti. Now, if you're super smart, you buy the whole wheat kind so you can trick your family into having healthy food. My water's not boiling quite yet. And then we're going to cook the spaghetti according to its directions. At the same time, we got our big pan going here, and it's just about heated up. We're going to put in a pound of ground beef. Now, you can do half ground beef, half turkey. I've done half ground beef, half sausage is a real good combination. Other than, frankly, it starts to taste a little bit like lasagna, and that's up to you if you like to have spaghetti or spaghetti lasagna hybrid, whatever you want to call it. So, I'll also show you a little secret to cooking your spaghetti. When you're taking it out of the box, I probably should have a zoom feature. I don't know how to do that. Hold it half in the middle in two. If you've ever had little pieces of spaghetti run loose over your kitchen like wild teenagers, you do it like this. Hold it in the middle, and then we're going to break it like that. And then one little piece got loose, and you're going to have just the right size spaghetti for your casserole dish. Now, if you like to do spaghetti where it's spooning around your things and you twirl it like you're in Lady and the Tramp, well, then don't do this, frankly, if you like it that way. But I don't need to have, I might have had too big of a pile there. Oh, didn't take any Taekwondo classes or anything. I don't have the magic power, but I managed. I don't need to have stuff that rolls around my spoon, frankly. So that's where we go. Your spaghetti's in. And as you know, if you're not like a super cook, you might wonder why some instructions say al dente. That just means of the tooth, so it's a little bit less mushy than other kinds. All right, now our pan is hot. While the noodles are cooking over there, we're gonna put in a pound of meat. And if you're wondering, Lee Brown, why is the meat in a Ziploc bag? Look, I buy the big old bulk amounts of beef, and then I break it up into pound size amounts. Crazy extra, y'all. That is what Ziploc bags are made for. And then I'm gonna bury my ground beef in some Worcestershire sauce. And tonight we're adding minced onions instead of fresh onions because, frankly, I forgot to go to the grocery store, and this is what we have. And so we're going to use as many as we want, frankly. If you're new to Lee Brown's kitchen, you might not know, but I feel things. We're not going to measure a whole lot. And you'll get there too, friends. You'll get there. And if you mess up sometime, frankly, you're the one that cooked, and your family should be grateful that you did all the work. So let's let that beef brown pretty good. Cut it down just a wee tiny bit. I think I'm going to put a little more onion in because that does not look like enough. That looks right. And a little more Worcestershire sauce because, frankly, I don't know how you could ever use too much Worcestershire sauce. Can I get an amen on that? That is some magical, magical stuff. All right, so now, while that's cooking, we're going to get ourselves a bowl so we can make the next most important ingredient, which would be the binding stuff. You want to bind up. I mean, it's not always good to be bound up, right? But, you know, this time it is. We've got 5 tablespoons of butter, and I've already melted it in the microwave. And for the record, I don't know if y'all saw it on the news, but Land O'Lakes is removing that nice little Indian princess from their packaging because they need to feel more politically correct. So I'm done with Land O'Lakes. When I run through my amount, I will be done because frankly, I'm tired of people that can't deal with life. It's very exhausting. So anyway, we got 5 tablespoons of butter. We're going to put 2 eggs in. And these eggs came from my mama's chiropractor. We do like having fresh eggs or fresh-ish eggs. One day Timmy's going to have a chicken coop. And then Katie barred the doors. It's going to be good around here. And then we need some Parmesan cheese to go in with our eggs and our butter. And you need, I don't know, enough. I would imagine that in the real world that's probably like a half a cup. And in my world that's enough. And then we got to find our whisk, which I believe is over here where I have rinsed it and laid it down. We're going to whisk that up and bust up those eggs nicely. And this will be your binder, y'all. This is going to be what makes the difference between baked spaghetti and spaghetti that just comes off the stovetop. And then after we whisk this up, we will mix in some ricotta cheese. Now, if you're trying to save a calorie or 3, you could use cottage cheese. I do not care for cottage cheese because it makes me think about those old diet plates they used to have at the McCrory. If you grew up in Concord, y'all remember McCrory had that little diner lunch counter thing in it. And I thought cottage cheese was nasty, and it came with a little piece of sad iceberg lettuce and also came with a half of a peach. I never understood what peaches, cottage cheese, and lettuce had to do with saving a few calories, but you know, whatever. I guess I was just not of that mindset. So now that we have this mixed up, we're going to save back a little bit more. You saw how much I squoze in there. This is a 15-ounce container. It looks like it was about a third of what was in there. So let's just say we put 5 ounces of cheese in, mixed in here. Now you're also going to need other kinds of cheeses for when you put it all together. I've got in my refrigerator, I had Colby Jack and mozzarella. So that's what we're putting in it tonight. Now if you have regular cheddar, maybe you like that, that cheddar, the jack, the spicy jack, what's it called? Pepper jack. That actually is really good in your baked spaghetti. I'm going to grease up my 9x13. And if you have a 9x13 and you're looking for a church home, we'd be glad to have you over at Providence Baptist because you know that 9x13 is your ticket to a Baptist church. And let's see, our ground beef is about done. Then we're going to drain the grease off. Y'all, please don't put your ground beef grease into your recipes. That's not a good idea. And while our pasta is cooking, I'm going to throw a little bit of kosher salt in because salt in your pasta while it's in the water, that's good stuff. And if you don't like your noodles to stick together, if you put in like a tablespoon or so of oil, it will keep the noodles separated. But I kind of like it when mine stick together because it proves that they're friends looking out for each other. So anyway, I'm going to pause here for a regularly scheduled commercial break from sponsors I don't have, and we'll be right back and I'll show you how to put it all together. By the way, you should go ahead over to your oven and preheat it to what? 350. Again, Michael Loeffler, everything I cook is at 350 it seems. So we have an interim step here in Lee Brown's kitchen. For those of y'all that don't cook all the time and had a question, hey Lee Brown, what do I do with all the oil from off of my meat? Get you a little pan colander or a real colander, it doesn't matter, whichever one you're comfortable with. And then you need a can. See, now I don't know what Yankees do with oil, but in the South, we use a can from something else to gather it up in the grease. And then we save it back because it's got good flavor to it. You can use it later on in other recipes that call for lard or grease of some sort. And you can use it to grease up your pans for cooking or for making biscuits. Put it in your pan instead of butter when you're getting something ready to cook. And then we're going to set that can right back up under the sink. I mean, that's really it. It's not a really scary thing. But for heaven's sakes, y'all, don't put that grease down the drain. That's a terrible idea. Because then you're going to call me and try to sell your house. And then I'm going to get the inspection done. And we're going to find out that your disposal just gave up. So don't put your grease down in the sink. And for the answers to the questions y'all are fixing to ask me, yes, that's a little bit of eucalyptus I'm trying to root here in my kitchen because I want to set it out. And I heard that it will root. So far it has not, but I have faith. You know, you got to believe in your plants. And yes, you see a little tiny espresso thing here from the Miami Realtors. They gave those out at Jorge's installation. Turns out to be a real good spoon holder for my coffee spoon after I stir it up in the morning. So thanks, Miami Realtors. Okay, so now that we have our meat all drained, we are going to take it, just leave it in the pan, add a jar of spaghetti sauce of some sort. It doesn't matter which one you use, just the one you have, frankly. And as you notice, I'm not checking dates here because I think I've gone through all of my old stuff. And some of y'all were so horrified by me using stuff that was out of date. It was kind of cracking me up, but I was nervous about your well-being, so I'll use stuff in dates for a while. And then I'm putting some seasoning salts in. You could use any of the brands of seasoning salt. The one I like is No from Hawaii seasoning salt. It is so good, y'all. I got it when I was in Hawaii a couple of years ago when the Utah Realtors were there. And man alive, it's good. And I ran out of it and I had to order some online. I'm pretty sure I offered up a kidney in exchange for the shipping cost, but it was okay because it was worth it. And if you notice, I put my spaghetti sauce jar upside down to drain the last little bit of goodie out because you hate to waste it. And then over here, the noodles have also been cooked and drained. So we are going to take them, close up my cupboard so y'all don't see all my dirt there. And we're gonna add in this mixture. Remember your eggs and cheeses. We're gonna put that in here. And it's real thick. It doesn't look real good. So that's why you should be drinking while you cook, frankly. Your food will look a lot better if you drink while you cook. Plus your friends and family will appreciate it. But, you know, be moderate so you know what you're putting in your food. So let's mix that in pretty good. And then what we're gonna do, oh, daggone, that looks good. See, this is what it looks like. See, doesn't that look good? That looks like what your children want to eat when they tell you they want butter noodles. You could actually fix this if you have little picky children in your house. I didn't really allow picky children in my house because, no, you're gonna eat what you're given. This is not a short order cook around here. So let's dump that in the 9x13. Then we're gonna dump in the spaghetti sauce. I should move this back so y'all can see what I'm doing. Look, I am learning how the video is supposed to work here. There's your noodles. Scooch them out a little bit. This is gonna fill your spaghetti, your casserole dish completely slap up because it's designed to be full. Now, if you're making this to carry to a friend's house, buy those little tin foil pans at the grocery store so they don't have to worry about getting your dishes back to you. If you are not somebody who cooks for friends on a regular basis, you might not know that rule. But it's very important that when you're dropping food off, you don't give anybody a role, a task to do. Now, some people mix it all in. For this purposes, we're gonna let the meat and the sauce lay on top. And then we are gonna put in a little bit more of our ricotta cheese. Again, you can use cottage cheese if you prefer, but I like the texture of ricotta. Plus it kind of gives it a lasagna-y kind of a flair. So we'll just call this baked spaghetti lasagna. We'll just make something up here to be fun and festive. Mix that in a little bit so we have as many calories as possible in this dish. And then we are going to add in the cheeses that I had. So I told y'all I'm going to use up what's in my refrigerator. I had a little bit of shredded mozzarella. Let's put that across the top because y'all know mozzarella, you cannot eat too much of it. I just don't think it's possible. And I had a half a bag left. If I'd have had a whole bag, I'd have used it because I don't know that you can ever have too much cheese in anything. And then I had some Colby Jack, which was already open. And yes, this is the Lowe's Food brand. See, my oven's ready, 350, right on time. We're gonna put the Colby Jack across the top too, so that we have a heavy layer of cheese. Then I'm going to put a layer of tin foil on top, and you who watch my channel, you know that in My Kitchen, My Rules, you put a layer of spray Pam on the tin foil and you put it on top so your cheese does not stick to your tin foil and then you won't lose all this melty goodness. We're gonna cook this at 350 for, I don't know, 30 minutes or thereabouts. And then if you want to take off the tin foil and let it go for just a few more minutes, maybe like 15 more, and when it is bubbly, it is ready. And serve it in squares with a little bit of crusty bread if you want. Enjoy the heck out of it, and then maybe go for a walk after supper to burn off some of the calories.